Everybody, welcome back to part 18b. Here we're going to finish adding the pet. So here I am in pets new. My server is running. I'm logged in. And before we get to that, I want to just come back to the controller and fix a bug really quickly. I'm sorry, big apologies for that. I want you to go to config and click on webpack and environment.js. And I'm very sorry about this. I'm going to just fix this over here in the provide plugins. Actually, this is there's no S there, so it's provide plugin. And also in the popper.js, we need to, I'm going to just wrap that here around the braces. And I'm going to add default as well, like that. So I just wanted to apologize again. Please save the file. And I want you to come back here, do a Control-C to stop the server if it's running. And I want you to do yarn install --check -files just to ensure everything is okay. It should be fine. Yeah, so just do that. And also I want to check something on the application.js. So once that's complete, we can work on the application.js. I want to just have a look there. So let's close this. Go to app, app channels, app JavaScript, packs, application.js. Yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know that we don't really need this SBadmin for now. So I'm going to comment it out. Whoops. I'm going to just comment it out, do a command and comment it out like that. And in regards to Bootstrap, I think I've read that required is a better thing to do, but I don't know if it's up to you if you want to put required or not, but I think it's probably better to just leave it as is, import. I'm just going to move it out of there, okay, and I'm going to put it here in the bottom, okay, just to make sure that everything goes as planned for me. I want to make sure I get this course completed and this app built. So I'm just going to save this as well. It's not going to make a difference, but I just wanted to do that, all right? Because later we're going to have to add, we may have to add some event listeners for Bootstrap for conflicts with turbo links, okay? So I'm just going to close this. That's why I wanted to just move it in this side so that it's nice and clean. And this SBadmin 2, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to comment it out for now. So after you save it, just close this, and I want you to come back to Chrome, right? And we can close this environment.js. I want you to come back to Chrome, and here we are. The server is not running though, so I'm going to do a Rails S to run the server. I'm logged in and I'm in pets new, so I'm going to start typing a pet's name. I'm going to put in Tina, and I'm going to call, and Tina belongs to the dog category. Is our server running? Yes. And I'm going to click save and continue. That's going to take us to the pets with the ID /ID/edit, which is running the edit action. So it's going to allow us to create a pet, right? Now remember, the server was turned off. That's why it's going to take some time. But obviously here you could see everything is compiling and it's running perfectly. And we have great, please continue filling out the remaining fields. So we're in the pet edit view. So I'm gonna close the config, come to views here, and I want you to click on, not layouts, but click on pets, the pets folder, and click on edit. So now over here, I'm gonna just make this, minimize this. Okay, I'm gonna just grab this whole thing here and delete it, and we're gonna start working on the edit page. But before we work on the edit page, what exactly are we doing here? Over here, we're working on adding first of all the video, the about information. We're gonna add the controllers we're gonna add the photos. So we need an upload method, and we need to add a delete method. And for that reason, and the rich text as well, okay? And for that reason, we're gonna have to ensure that rich text is working also. So I'm going to work all the way to rich text, which is going to be the about, and then we'll take it from there. Now I want you to follow me, please. Here I'm going to do the same thing we did in the new view, this one here. So I'm going to do a section here, and we're gonna get this done really fast. Okay, so don't you worry, it's gonna be quick. So do a div.container as we normally do. I'm gonna split the div container. Now in here, I'm gonna add. Actually, before we do that, hang on a second. Let's just come back to the controller first. Let's come back to the controller. Go to pets controller. In the pets controller, I don't want to work on the views right away. I want to work on the photo upload. That's going to be a very big part of this part. Okay, now we need to do two methods. The first method is to upload a photo. So we need to get all the photos. We need to render them. We need to actually render them in JSON format, right? So we need to grab the variable that we created, and that's what we're going to do now. So under the show, we're going to define a method, and I'm going to call this method upload pets underscore photos. Okay, and in that method, we have the variable pet, and I'm going to connect to the pet photos. Okay, pet underscore photos, which we created previously. Has many pet photos, the action storage. Okay, so like over here, if you go to the pet model, models, and you go to pet, it says first of all, it has rich text, pet description, and also has many attached pet photos. So that's the name of our attribute. Okay, that's the column actually that is inside. Well, it's not the column. In the column it says photos. But that's inside our blobs attachment. Okay, so come back here. So it has many attached pet photos, right? So and then we want to see if it's attached, right? And basically pass in the parameters with the ID of that photo. Okay, so pass in the params and also add the ID in there. And that should do it. That should do it for us, but we also need to render them. So we're gonna do a render JSON format, and we're gonna do the success true. Okay. Like I think with curly braces here. Sorry. All right. So once we have that done, we are good to go with the upload pet photos. And we also remember when you add an action, you also have to change the routes, right? So don't forget the routes, and also we need to do a delete, right? So whenever we add an action, because I'll tell you in a second, okay? So we need to delete pet photos. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm naming it something more meaningful. So we know that this is going to be the delete pet photos underscore pet URL. You know what I mean? So that's the path, right? So here I'm going to just create a variable. It could be any variable. I'm going to do like an image, or you can do, I don't know. Well, it should be a global variable. So let's just do an image. IMG is enough, and do an active storage attachment. And then from there, attach. And then we need to actually find this. We need to find this through the same thing that we did here. So we can come here and paste that in params ID. So actually, just like that. Params, yeah, good. Obviously the ID, and then and then we need to find that find, because that's the method. Find is the method, and inside we pass the params ID. So the active storage, just make sure this is correct, because later if this doesn't work, it's gonna be really devastating trying to figure it out. And we also need to purge it as well, because it's being deleted. So that's just, always remember that, even if you have to memorize it. You want to grab this variable as well and purge it. .purge, and we're manipulating it now, right? And we also want to redirect to request refer, but yeah, No, I think it's more like redirect. Let's just redirect to the same page, to the edit pet path, because they're going to be in the same page. So redirect to edit pet path. Okay, so edit pet path, and you want to pass in the pet variable, and then you can say like notice successfully upload. Notice I don't know, great photos have been added or something like this. Great photos have been added. Right, so that should be that should be good enough. So once you have those two done, let's just save them, and remember we need to go to the routes because we've added those. So it's delete pet photos and upload pet photos. Okay, so I copied that, save the file, and go to config again and go to routes.rb. Okay, in routes.rb, in the previous section, I said resources pets do. This is very common in Rails. So here we need to add a member do. You can search this in and so you can search this one. I'm just going to remove the white space. You can search this in Rails guides. Okay, and you can, yeah. So once we have these actions added here, it will be something awesome. It would be like in pet adoption, it would be like pets 8. You know, basically, it will look something like upload / so this is the ID, right? And then upload pet photos. It won't work now, but later when you upload a photo, that's the action it's gonna call. That's the method that's gonna run. It's gonna be like, oh, okay, so I want to upload a photo. Well, give me the method of how to do it, what to do, where to go. So it's gonna be the pets and then the pet ID, and this is gonna be the upload pet photo, and then also it's going to be the delete pet photo. So that's why we need to make sure that we even say what's the method. So we have a post method and a delete method, right? So we're going to do a delete method first. Delete. So we have a delete method of the oh no, this is going to be delete, like that. So delete photos and also a post, because we're posting to the database, and make sure you don't forget to make sure it looks exactly like that. Okay, I do this often. I make a lot of mistakes with spelling, so just, you know, don't underestimate it. Oh, whoops, sorry. Actually, I'm sorry. The delete is like this. It looks exactly like that. Okay, I make the same mistake all the time. So just save it. As long as you write it down and have it and refer to it, you'll be fine. So once you save that, close the routes. We don't need the routes anymore, and you can leave the pets controller. But I just want to. I think we previously. I think I must have missed something over here. Here I have like title, pet description. This is what we're going to do in the edit. We're going to obviously add the title that's been created in the new. I'll tell you in a second. We have the pet description, which is rich texts. We have active, is paid, has 1 transport cost, and category ID. But what about the video? We forgot the video. So we're going to add the video. Yeah, so just don't forget to add the video. That's really important. So save it now. And so I want you to come back to edit. So in the edit, we built the container, and inside the container, I'm going to just add a paragraph, and I'm going to add a class. I'm going to call it subtitle. But the reason why I'm calling it subtitle is because I just want to style it later, okay? And that's what I did previously, but we didn't style them. Subtitle, I think that's what I called it. So add a subtitle and make it text primary, okay? Text dash primary, which will give it the primary color of the theme. And inside that, I think I'm gonna do like, please continue to fill out the fields, right? Please continue to fill out the fields, like that. Don't worry about my spelling now. And then underneath that, I'm gonna just do an H1, okay? Because we need to make it look good. All right, so I'm gonna do an H1 with a class of, I don't know, H1, H2, okay? An H1 with a class of H2. That's also, I think, part of the, it wasn't part of the theme, but I'm going to call it H2 anyway, okay? Because that's what I want it to be. And later we're going to style this class. And I'm going to do something like basic blah. All right. It's going to be all on the very top of the page. Okay, on the very top of the page, and underneath it. Okay, underneath it, we're going to have a row, and this row we're going to split it in the middle. But before we do the row, actually, let me just add some class here. Class equals to py, I don't know, 4 or something. Okay, padding up and down 4. All right, so now underneath that, we're gonna do a form. I'm gonna jump straight into the form 4. Okay, so I'm gonna do a form 4. Form 4 and remote true. No, please. No, thank you. We're gonna pass in the pet. Okay, it's the pet variable, and that's the pet model. And then we do, I'm just thinking if, yeah, so that's correct. We do the form, and then inside the form we do the container and the row. So based on our theme, previously we used the form, container, and row. So they call it form, container, row. I don't know if form container actually works, but I know the row does. So in here, I'm gonna do a div dot form. If it doesn't work, we can remove it later, the container thing, form container. And we also have a row. The row obviously works as part of Bootstrap. All right, now inside of that row, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna split the screen in the middle, okay? One is 1/3, the other one is 2/3, okay? Okay. So I'm gonna do a div dot call dash large dash 4. And that's going to be the left side of the screen, okay? The left side of the screen, I'm going to add a strong element here. And inside of that, I'm going to do an H5. H5 with something that says basic, again, basic, blah, blah. Of course, below that, I'm going to add some information that I want to add, and I want you to get used to giving information to your user as to what they're doing. So it's going to be like a paragraph with a class of text muted, so they understand that it's information, because that's a Bootstrap class, and the text dash small, okay? And inside of there, I'm going to say, hey, this is information about the form you want to tell your user, okay? And I'm going to do this twice just so that you kind of copy this, and I'm going to paste it in just so you can click on the view, here, and click on toggle word wrap. Now, I just want you to get used to this so that you know it, okay? Now, these are just classes. You can go to Bootstrap and find those classes. They're universally there. So once you have that, that's great. So this is information, oh man, what happened there? Information column. Okay, now this is the information column, and here I'm gonna do the form column, okay? Form column. Guys, please be patient. Everything will be perfect. But now on the form column, obviously it's 12 rows. 12 columns. So 4 columns is 1/3. So we're gonna do 8 columns on the right. Okay. So I'm gonna do a div dot call dash large dash 8. Okay. So inside of that column, I'm gonna start working on my form. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we have, first of all, margin left, because this is not going to look good. So we're going to do an ml-auto. I forgot to add that class. And okay, now if we save this, you're going to come here and refresh this. You'll notice, okay, it says redirect to edit pet path. Notice, okay, so I made a typo here in the controller. So come back to the pet controller. Okay, the redirected pet path. Notice we didn't, this is supposed to be a period, so this was a mistake. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, what am I doing? Yeah, notice like that. Just wondering if that's, yeah, that's fine. Okay, save that, okay? come back here, refresh. This is a syntax error in the controller. Okay. Okay, that's because we didn't end the form. And oh, we put do twice. All right, save that, refresh. Okay, there we go. So on the left side like this, and on the right side is going to be the form. So now that we have the right side, and here we need to add the form group. Okay, so form group, and that's it. Okay, so we're going to do a div dot form dash group. Okay, and inside of that group, we're going to start adding our field, of course, the title, and we're going to add from there every single field that we're missing. F dot text underscore field, and then that's going to be the title with I guess the autocomplete title. Autocomplete. It's not really necessary, but whatever. It's gonna give us the name Tina anyway. And then the class, I'm gonna add the class. It's form control. Form dash control. That's universal for all the inputs. That's an input, right? Okay, so if we save that and come back here, you'll notice form group with Tina. And you'll see also that it, yeah, so this margin left auto column large 8, we can make this column large 7 just to see why. This is what I was trying to avoid, this left margin. It looks exactly, now it looks a lot nicer here. Because earlier this was, anyway, should have worked better, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so we have a form, I know why, because of this. That's why, so you don't need to change this to 8, to 7. We just come like, I made a mistake, typo here. Refresh again. Oh, okay. So, refresh. Okay, we'll leave it to number 7, and we'll fix it later. It shouldn't be 7, it should be 8, but anyway. So we have a form group with a text field. We need to also add a label. Label, and then label is going to be dog's name, pet's name. Save it. There we go. That's why it looks a lot nicer now. We didn't put the label. Okay, so pet's name. We need to style all our labels as well. So that's just one stacked on top of the other. Bang, 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 like that. And this is going to be pet's category. And over here, and this is going to be a select. And of course, we have to actually do, I'm going to remove all this. We're going to do the same thing that we did in the new. I don't have to repeat this again, my goodness. Just let me grab all that, copy that, come back. Go. This is go to the pet's new, okay? That's where I went. And come back to edit, and just, all you got to do is just paste it in. Exactly what we did in the previous section, previous video, I mean. And just make sure that we add, like if we do a margin bottom 3, anyways, let's see that. If you save this here and come back here, you'll notice pets category, but it's selecting cat. But actually, in fact, Tina, if you come to pets here and you refresh, Tina is in fact belongs to category ID number 2. So if you look at the category ID number 2, if you click on categories and ID number 2, that's a dog. So we need to do a selected, equals category name. So we need to point to that category, you know what I mean, in the selected area. And that's what we're going to do right now. So it's not really, yeah, you have to point to that category. To that category ID, I'm sorry, category ID. Okay, we'll take the pet, we have the variable, the pet, and go to the pet category ID. So we have to add the selected, actually, we put a comma here and do a selected at category. Actually, let me make this smaller. Selected category. No, this is pet. Pet dot category ID. I think that should do it. Save it, come back here, refresh, and there you go, it's a dog. All right, so now that we have that, I'm just gonna grab this here, copy that, come back here. Now we need to do the pet description, right? The pet description. So in the pet description is a rich text area. Okay, guys, it's a rich text area. If you come to pet model here again, you come to the, if you come to the pet model, the pet has rich text and it's called pet description. Okay, so copy this here. This is, it's always called rich text area if you're using action text. Okay, so it's a rich underscore text underscore area. And this is not taking, obviously I don't have to repeat myself, just watch my previous parts to understand how we built them. And here it's called the pet description. So it's f dot rich text area pet description autocomplete. Okay, anyway, pet this. We don't need this autocomplete. Okay, just remove it. Class form control, and we need to also add rows 10 or 20 or whatever here, 20. Save that. Come back here, refresh, and of course, there you go. So now you have your pet description, which is working. Now this is not, if this is not working for you, it's because go back to the beginning of my video if you skipped it and make sure you fix the problem with the environment.js. Okay, please make sure you fix that. Now you're gonna notice that this looks ugly. Okay, but that's because we didn't do one thing. There's something that we didn't do when we added action text. When we added action text, we have not referred to the CSS. The CSS files are not working right now. So I want you to come to the assets, style sheets, application.scss. You notice here we actually don't have action text. So come to the very top and do like the old way, require action text, just like you see it like right here, require action text. Okay, save it, come here and refresh this. It should work. If it doesn't work, it will be devastating, but thankfully it works. And now you can see that I can start writing about Tina. Tina is an adorable baby girl. She was rescued in a beach in Bali, Indonesia. You know, and you can, for instance, you know, you can say Kuta Beach, for example, in Kuta Beach, right? So I guess my keyboard is going crazy. So you can, for example, do a link here, add a link and say, you know, HTTPS, I don't know, Bali.com, you know, and then do a link like that. You can, Bali, Indonesia, you can make it bold and make it, you know, put, I think, an underline, or you can start adding information like hello, right? And then make this hello a numbered list. Hello to hello again. Like it's awesome, right? And you can also yeah, so you can put a lot of information here. It's great, but we're gonna work on the height of this stuff here, okay? All right, so now we've added that. Of course, we haven't had the submit button yet, so we have to obviously submit this in order for this to work, in order for this to be saved. So now you get this rich text. It's awesome. We're gonna work on the CSS and everything and making it look a little prettier later. For now, we just wanted to do the basic of what we can do. So come back to Visual Studio Code, and what I want you guys to do is in the edit.html.erb, I want you to realize that this is not it. There's also a video that we have to add, okay? There's also a video and there's photos. So copy that here and paste it again. And here we're gonna say pet YouTube I don't know, pet YouTube. You know what? Under the pet description, I think what I want to do is I want to add some small text. I want to add some small text, and in here, I want you to be familiar with form text class and text muted. Okay, so in the class here, equals to form form dash text and text dash muted. Okay, this is really important because you want to put information. Tell your user what you need them to write about. Okay, so this, I know this is not an HTML course, but it's important that this makes sense. Okay, so save that. I'm just going to delete. Okay, leave that as is. I'll show you later how it looks. So here we need to do, it's a text field. It's not rich text, it's text field, and that is video. And autocomplete, is going to be, autocomplete is, all right, class is form control, rows is not needed. Okay, make sure you have a commas there, otherwise it's not going to work. Make sure the attribute is correct. Save it now. I want you to also remember this here. Now, if you come back here and refresh, you'll notice some information. Now, this hasn't been saved. That's why it's not there anymore. Now, you've noticed this. Tell your user what you need them to write about. This is really important to have that in your forms, okay? Now, pet YouTube URL. Pet YouTube URL. Okay, we'll leave that there. Text field, video. All right. Now, another thing you want to work on now is the photos. The photos. Okay, the photos and the is spade information. Is spade is going to be really, really, really important because you're adding a select drop down. A select drop down with, not a select drop down, a checkbox. Okay, because if the dog is spade, you're going to check it. If it's not spade, you're going to leave it, right? So I think that's going to be important to implement, and that's, I'm going to do this right now. So I'm going to split it in two. I'm going to put a row and split it in the middle, okay? Because I think we need to also add the is published, but probably not. I'm going to just do one. I'm going to do one row, and yeah. I'm going to do a row. Form control. No, form group. Okay, so div dot form dash group. The is spade. Remember, is spade. This part here is spade, whether it's fixed or not, if they can reproduce or not. If they're spade, they cannot reproduce, right? So div dot form group, and inside of here we're gonna do the label, and we're gonna do a do. So we're gonna add. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so this is how you do it, like this. That's just how you wrap it around. Okay, f dot checks check f dot check box, and you want to add your attribute is underscore spade. That's our attribute, and we're gonna add the class. Class is gonna be the I'm gonna put my class because later my class one will style it later, because we might want to style it to make them look prettier, because the default one is not very pretty, but that's okay. So checkbox is spade with a class, and then you want to do a label with a loop, right? You wrap it with text. Okay, so we'll do an f dot label, and you want to loop with that. Yeah, we just do the do like that, and okay. So in the label itself, all I want to do is put the is spade. Why not? Is spade, do the do. Is spade, do the do, and then we also need to add a class. So why not do that? Yeah, and then we can always remove it later if we don't need to add a class. So spade and spade neutered neutered neutered, and I'm gonna grab some of this small text here and put it underneath that and say, hey, please let us know. I'm doing this because I really want to do this, because it's true, you need to explain to them. Neutered or spade if dog has been fixed, cannot reproduce. Check this box. Okay. All right. So come back here, refresh the page. Okay, great. So look at that. So this looks pretty good to me. Okay, so there's something about margins. We need to add a margin on top of each one. That's what I'm gonna do on top of each form group. I'm gonna do an empty. Let's do it later with the universally. But here on this end, what I want to do is actually I want to add a class. I want to add another class here, and this class is going to be like a margin left dash one. Okay, and come here, and it should make it look, yeah, a little bit cleaner. You see? I don't know if you noticed. So if you click on this, it means that it was it was neutered. Okay, and also I'm going to do a margin top here for this one, mt-2, just to give it some space to breathe, because everything seems to be I don't know if this worked, but ml and mt-2. Yeah, that looks a little nicer now. Now, the next thing we want to work on is the photo upload, guys. The photo upload is so important. So this is what I want you to do. We have all the action storage completed. We've already installed that in the previous video on part 18. So the next most important thing when you're installing that is to use dropzone. You can use many different ways. You can do it in many different ways, but dropzone is already given. It's already given, and since it's given, why not just work with dropzone? It's already an amazing JavaScript library, and we can use it, we can install it. So let's just install it using Yarn. You can read on here as much as you would like. So I'm going to come back here to the terminal, and yeah, I'm going to do a Control-C. I'm going to do a Yarn. It's going to be a drag and drop JavaScript library. Okay, Yarn add dropzone. Okay, so once you do that, Yarn's going to add it. You'll see it in package.json file. You'll see it's going to be added there. And what you want to do is refer to, we also want to refer to the CSS files, and we also want to refer to the, so come back to assets, application.scss, okay. So in application.scss here, we want to refer to dropzone from node modules. Now, I don't want to make this video forever, but if you watch my previous videos, you'll see where the node modules are. So import, we want to do the same thing like everything else. I'm going to do dropzone/dist. Yeah, dropzone/dist. This is referring to the node modules, okay? And then dropzone.css. And I don't know, but I think it's a good idea to add the CSS there. All right, so just do that. So dropzone dist dropzone.css. That's the path. All right, save that. And we also want to go over to the JavaScript as well. Okay, so save that and come to JavaScript application.js, and we want to add this here. Okay, it's really important that we add it here. Okay, and we need to add it here. Window dot dropzone equals require dropzone. So you want to make sure. Oh, this is small d. So you want to make sure you add it there as well. That's that. And then you save it. Okay, that's all you need to do in regards to the JavaScript. So once that's done, we come back to edit.html.arb, and we're gonna add a division, and inside that division, just like dropzone.js says, of course this is gonna be loaded for us because we already did this. But if you look at the usage here in our form, we need to add an action, a class, and an ID so that we can target it with JavaScript. All right, so we can reload the page as well, because it won't know what action to do. All right, so we need to add this. I'll tell you in a second how to do it. It's already here. Look, everything is here. There you go. So you can literally grab there, just grab all of that. I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna add it here in a script tag. Script. There you go. Just make sure it looks good, because it's not. It needs to line up. Okay, in case you're new to JavaScript. So okay, I'm gonna remove this, because we should add an anonymous function in there so that we can trigger the ID. Okay, so yeah, we'll just leave it. Let's just leave this now. We added this. Now I'm gonna come here and form group is spade. All right, so here we can do another form group. So we'll do another, no. We're gonna add what they told us to add. So let's just add a division. So we have an action, okay, so we have an action, a class, and we need to add an ID. Yeah, so action, class, ID. Okay, that's what we need to do. So copy that, but it doesn't have to, yeah. Okay, anyway, so okay, let's just do that. Why? I don't like that. I don't like how they, okay, so anyway, so we'll do a div dot, so we have a class of dropzone, and we have an ID of pet. I'm gonna call it pet drop zone. Okay, pet drop zone. Okay, so it's if I hit the autocomplete now, it's a class of dropzone, and then we need an action as well. So action equals hello. I'm just gonna leave it like hello for now. So in here, okay, we need to all right, so let's just, okay, now we have this, oh boy. Okay, so this here, like they said here, that we need to do, all right, so it's gonna be, the way it's gonna work, it's gonna be like pets edit, and then the IDs here, and over here is gonna be delete pet photos, okay? So you want to copy that. So you want to come here. So in the action, it's going to be, we're going to have the pets, right? So it's first of all HTTPS /pets, and this is going to be the, not the delete, sorry, the upload. Okay, the upload, because we're uploading. The minute we're dragging images there, the user is uploading pet photos. So upload pet photos, and here we need to add our our ID, because we need to refer to the pet ID. So just so you know, in here, that's what I'm gonna do. So pets upload pet photos. This is the action. Okay. Yeah. So let's just add embedded Ruby here. So we're gonna do so that's the pet, and we're gonna refer to the ID. Yeah, let's just try like that. That should work. Okay, that's gonna run this action here. Okay, so here obviously it's gonna be something like like the ID number 8, okay, or 9 or 10 or whatever it is, okay. All right, so inside of this, but first of all, actually, I think it's a good idea that I wrap this inside a row. Okay, let's just wrap this inside a row. So let's do a div.row, and inside of that row, I'm gonna add a div.call, I don't know, 12, the full row, dash large dash 12. Okay, and I'm gonna grab this, and I'm gonna paste it in here. Oh, let's just make sure. Okay, so this div is here, ends here, div ends, div row ends. Okay, so here I'm gonna do photo uploads, photo upload container. I don't know, container box. Okay, box. Oh boy, what happened here? Box from dropzone, dropzone.js. Okay, so this is going to be triggered. Okay, so copy this. We need to take this ID and come here. Instead of my awesome dropzone, we want to replace that with pet dropzone, because that's ours. That's what we call ours. Over here, I'm going to add maybe like a couple of more things. You could add whatever you want. The most important thing I want to add is just like it takes all images, whether it's JPEG or PNG, as long as it accepts those files. So accepted files, it's going to be a universal, all images. You can say JPEG and PNG, but instead you can just do an image, and then I think it's something like, yeah, like that. Oh, of course we have to wrap that. Yeah. And that's all. Oh, actually, you don't need to do that. Just like image. So as long as you wrap it like that, and there's no need to put a star there either. Actually, is it? Copy that. Image. Yeah, like that. So, and now over here we can do I'm gonna do a function here. Okay, so I'm gonna do, let me create this key here. So init, and in there I'm gonna run a function. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna leave it empty here, but we can actually say this dot on to reload it, and they said in their documentation is complete, but you can do whatever you want. So you can manipulate this in so many different ways, actually. But what have I done here? Hang on. So we have a function. Yeah. Yeah, all right. So yeah, complete. And then we can do another parameter, which will be the function. Right? Oh, no. Autocomplete can be bad. Another parameter, which will be the function. And inside that function, we can pass the file attribute, because I saw here they had earlier this name file, but you can name it whatever you want, but I'm just gonna follow theirs. So I don't want to go through this because the videos can take forever. This is not about implementing dropzone, it's about Rails, right? So that's a different topic. So we have also a file. So inside of this function, which is in a function, we have to pass the file. Just like in E, we're passing an event, right? So we have to pass this file there in order for it to reload. And of course, we need to do that also. And in here, we're gonna do a location reload, okay? And reload is the method, okay? So upon complete, okay, so location dot reload, that should be fine. Save it. Now come back here, and in here, we need to add we need to do a loop, right? So we need to do a loop, but there is actually, we have a class, right? So we know we have a class, we're gonna style it in our CSS. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a DZ message class as well. And we're gonna do a flex. So I'm gonna just follow me, because if I sit here and explain, it's gonna take forever. I don't wanna make you guys bored. So we're gonna do a div dot, this is how you style dropzone, okay? So div dot DZ dash message. And inside of that class, I also wanna add a dflex, d dash flex, and I wanna add a flex column, flex dash column, like that. Okay, so inside of this message, this is what dropzone does. It's just like right here. If you click on usage, if you click, this is what I'm trying to achieve. That's what I'm trying to achieve right now. Okay, so just follow my instructions. You will be happy. I'm gonna say drag and drop. Please drag and drop your photos here. Drag and drop, click, or click here to upload. Okay. My computer is overheating. I really hope I get this done before. Now, I also want to add material icons. I'll tell you how to get them. So here, put an icon, and I'm going to do dot material icons. Okay, I'm going to call it material dash icons, and I'm going to make them text dash primary. My computer is overheating now. All right, so in here I'm going to say cloud underscore upload. That's just for material icons, okay? Just Google material icons and you'll see this is the name. But we need to refer to it, so material icons, use them. Okay, so I'll show you guys in a minute. Okay, okay, that's very good, very good, very good. We're doing very well. And I just want to save now the file, and you're going to see this is going to look really weird. We're going to style it with CSS. Come back over here. I'm trying so hard to make this work. Rails S, computer overheating, you know, all kinds of issues, all kinds of problems, you know, but anyway, everything is fine. You know, I have no issues. I'm not a video editor. So I don't ever edit videos. Like in the beginning I started, now I don't. So this should work right now. It has to work anyway, but it's just like, I don't like editing videos. I don't know how to edit videos. I suck at editing. I don't know how to use all these big apps. Now this is all pre-compiling again. Remember, we added new JavaScript files. We added dropzone. Here we've updated our view. We're doing really like a lot of work. It's not easy work. So you see this here, this cloud upload. That's because we haven't referred to the Google style sheet. Okay, and the Google style sheet is actually Google Fonts. Well, it's a Google API icon. Google Fonts. Google. I think it's Google Fonts. APIs. Icons. Material icons guide. Link to. Okay. So we just want to grab this here, copy that. I don't know, whatever. Copy that, come to application, go to the views, layouts, application.html.erb. And over here, you want to add this style sheet. Jeez, why would this happen now? Why would that be like that? Who did that? Anyway, there you go. Save that. Come back here and refresh this page. There you go. There you go. So we have that. And so another thing, you want to come to this this drop zone. You want to make sure that this is actually working. Okay. You want to make sure this is working. It's so important. So how do we know this is working? Let's do inspect and let's check our console. Make sure there's no errors. Okay, uncaught syntax error. Uncaught syntax error, init function. Where is the syntax? I don't see the problem here. Let's come to the bottom. Obviously, there's something not working here. And I don't even know what it is, but all I can say is we can start debugging it one by one. So we have a drop zone options pet drop zone. Let's make sure this, this exists in two places. Same with our ID. It exists here and it exists in the bottom. This is correct. Max file size 2. Accepted files. And then we don't have a comma here. So let's save that. Actually, we don't need a comma. Yeah, we need a comma because this is also the last one. Okay, so save the file. Come here and refresh this page. It should have no errors. If you click on the console, unexpected token. Again, this here. All right. So, what's the other problem? Yeah, of course, there's a problem here. Let me just make that. And in here we have this complete function here. The spacing is not the issue. I'm just trying to do it so I can look a little bit better. We have a location.reload. Let's add some space. So let me just pause the video. All right, so I was just lost, right? So this is wrong. It's misspelling. Function, really sloppy and like really bad with spelling, and it hurts me. And brain farts are normal, but it's good to focus on not making mistakes. So refresh this. It should be no error. Console. Oh, thank God. All right, so we have done this, guys. Whew. Okay, so if you notice here, if you click this, it's gonna fire something up. It's gonna fire something up because of the JavaScript, but it's gonna fire something up because of the JavaScript, but it's not gonna work because we have not added anything. We haven't added anything at all. Okay, so for that reason, we need to come here and finish what we started. Okay, and we're very, very close. Please don't give up. Don't give in. So we have this here over here, and I'm gonna say end photo drop zone. Hang on, end photo drop zone. Now we need to go through, probably make another row underneath it. We have to make another row underneath it, and just so this, I'm going to remove the white spacing, remove the white spacing. Okay, remove the white spacing. We don't need the white spacing here. Okay, and here, okay, I'm just gonna add here. I'm gonna add a comment. I'm gonna say list all the photos. List all photos. List all photos goes here, because once the photos are listed, okay, once the photos are uploaded here, once the photos are uploaded in here, they're gonna go another row, and it's gonna be like one photo beside the other, like a gallery. So let's just start first now. I wanna really focus on the CSS and get it done really fast. I'm not gonna explain why, because it's not a CSS course. So application.scss, and I want you guys to come to the bottom and add maybe, let's just add drop zone, my goodness, and dashboard menu. Drop zone CSS, okay? Drop zone CSS. This is not a spelling course. So, yeah, and I think, yeah, it should be fine. I can just put it in this file, doesn't matter. So I'm gonna do the drop zone class. First of all, I wanna make it bigger. I wanna put a dash border, okay? Make it bigger, put a dash border. Okay, so let's call it border dot, oh man. So border 2 pixels, 2 pixels dashed, and 2 pixels dashed. Okay, and the color is green. I'm just gonna say green for the sake of later on we can change it. Okay, because I don't know the color. Border dash radius, I'm gonna say 2 pixels or 5 pixels, 5 pixels there. And the background, I'm gonna say, I don't know, FB, I don't know, red. Let's just make it, okay, let's just call it FB. I think this is pretty light. Okay, and we need to put a number here. Okay, pretty light, it's like a big creamy color. And then the height, I'm gonna say like, I don't know, 250 pixels. Okay, so please bear with me. Okay, this is so important in styling drop zone. And then there's a drop zone icon. Okay, there's a drop zone icon. That's why we have here in the edit page, we have a drop zone icon. This is I here. So I want to target the class with, so drop zone and then icon, open close curly brace, come to here, don't forget the period, drop zone icon, and I'm going to say width, and actually no, font size, sorry, font dash size, let's make it 84 or 80 pixels. All right, so we're gonna start seeing changes now. Just even if you come here, you'll notice some changes. If you refresh this, you will definitely notice some changes. It's just like my computer is overheating, and I'm really upset that it's overheating. Okay, there you go, there you go. So we need to move this in the center. So we have to do a drop zone and then target the message also. So you want to target this message right here, this message here. So we're going to drop zone DZ message, application.scss. So we're going to do a drop zone and then dot DZ message. And here we want to start working on the color. Okay, so color, I still don't know. Color is, I want to say it's red, just because later we're going to change it in the console, we'll fix it. Font dash weight, we're gonna say 700 pixels, just 700, no pixels. Okay, and the font size, font dash size, we can say inherit or initial. Initial, that's better for CSS. Transform, uh, tra transform, I think it's transform. No, it's text transform. Text dash transform. I'm really racing against time. I'm gonna say uppercase, and also we have text align, text dash align, text align center. And let's save it, come back here, refresh. This should be a lot nicer. Oh, very good, very good. We're gonna have to change the color now. We'll find out. Now, margin top, the whole thing is 200. Okay, this takes 80. So 250 minus 80. Let's put margin top 100. Okay, so margin dash top, it should be around 100 pixels. It should be in the center. Come here and refresh this. It should be fine. Oh, too low. All right, let's put it in the middle. That's why you don't need math. You don't need to like be able to calculate things really quickly. But of course, you need to understand some common sense. So obviously, you know, this is pretty much in the center. All right, it's pretty much in the center. So now, in regards to the colors, I want to inspect this. All right, so this green, we need to change this green to, first of all, let's change the red. Okay, let's change the red to the primary color. Okay, we're gonna change that to the primary color. All right, so instead of red, let's come back here, and that's why I said to you, be patient. Instead of red, just want to add that there. Okay, save it, and don't refresh yet. And this one here, the dashed border, we can also want to take this one and select that. Okay, so in the dashed border, oops, I keep putting double numbers, save it. And the background here that says FCFC, I think we should also change the background. Okay, the background, will change it to that. Watch what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to take the opacity down. Okay, so make it look like that, just about that. Okay, now copy this number. So in regards to the FCFC, FCFB, blah blah blah, just paste this color in, save it, and then this, you don't want this screaming in your face. Okay, you don't want this screaming in your face. But so what you want to do is, I'm going to change the margin, the font weight, font size. I'm going to do it 48 pixels. Okay, so like that. But you don't want the color screaming in your face, so you want to fade it in a little, like that. And we said and also we said it's 20 pixels. Okay, so come here, and the font, instead of initial, put 20 pixels. 20 pixels, and the color, my goodness, there we go, save it. Now come back here, close this, and refresh this. It should work. Now, in regards to the margin top, it should be more than 50. It should be more like 70. So margin top, I'm gonna say 70, save it. Okay, that's pretty much perfect. Okay, so drag and drop or click here to upload photos. Guys, this is amazing. So now that we have the styles done, let's come back to edit.html.erb. And in here, we're gonna list all photos, okay? Now, this is gonna be slightly tricky, but it's very simple, okay? So we have to create a new row. Basically, we wanna create a new row underneath this. So we're gonna do a div.row, and inside of that row, we wanna put, we wanna loop through all the pet photos of the pet, okay? So And actually, we need to also make sure later we'll fix some bugs, because if there is no pet photos, you shouldn't show it. But we'll deal with that later. Okay, so we want to do for each loop, for actually each. Okay, so we want to get the pet. So we have this. We already have that. And we need to get the pet underscore photos, because we have that also in our model. Okay, and each do, and here we're going to say a photo. We can name this whatever. You can name it X. So I'm going to name it something meaningful, but probably call it X. It's probably easier if you don't want to get confused. Okay, so now, so for each photo inside of the pet photos that belong to this pet, I want you to do this for each one of them. Okay, so for that purpose, I'm going to do a div here, and I'm going to do a column dash large 3. Okay, so I want the column to be 3. Okay, and inside of that, I'm going to put an image tag. Okay, so I'm going to do an image tag, and I'm going to pass it the URL of the photo. Okay, so we're going to do URL 4. Okay, yeah, URL 4, and we can pass it X like that. Actually, instead of X, I'm going to call it photo, so it's something more meaningful. Okay, I really hope my alarm doesn't go off. So instead of X, let's just put photo. Okay, so URL, image tag URL 4. We also need to give it a class, and I'm going to give it some class. Okay, I'm going to call it class. I don't know, like pet image or something like that. Okay, and we're going to style the class later. Okay, so for each of these photos that get uploaded that are in there, I want you to display them here. Okay, even later, if he goes back to want to add more photos, he's still going to see this gallery. Okay, and under, I think what we need to do is we need to do an overlay. We need to do an overlay so we can allow them to delete it. We can put an X, we can put an icon, we can put an overlay, whatever it is, but we want to make sure that we add a method that we created in the controller. So this method here, this delete method, we want to make sure that we loop it through every photo that is added. We want to make sure that every photo is able to be deleted. The user is able to delete it. So we want to get this method here. It's important to delete pet photos method. Okay, and come back to edit.html. So underneath the image, I'm going to do a div. Hang on a second now. Actually, I'm going to do a link to. It's a link that is deleting. Remember, it's an action. It's a delete action. It's a link. So we're going to do a link to. Okay, so in here, instead of putting info, I'm just going to put the path. Okay, and the path is the path that I just copied. Delete pet photos. But if you do array routes, the delete pet photos URL is delete pet photos followed by the model URL. So it's like underscore pet underscore URL. So that's actually the path link to delete pet photos pet URL. Delete pet photos, that's in our controller, followed by underscore pet URL. You can do array routes, you'll see it. So in here, I'm going to pass that. I'm going to pass it the pet photos ID, pet underscore photos ID. Okay, and yeah, and give it the photo ID and the ID of the pet ID. So we're going to say the photo. Now remember, this photo here I'm getting from here, because for each pet photo, get me that ID. Okay, so for each pet photo, take this photo. You see, I'm looping through. So here I'm going to say for that photo, for photo number whatever, image 456. So get me that ID. Okay, so dot ID, and also dot yeah, ID at pet.id, like that. So that's the it's just universal. That's how you loop through the photos, okay, in the blobs. Okay, that's just how you loop through them. Okay, that's how you loop through them. All right, so now we need to mention that it's also a delete method. Whenever you're deleting something, you want to make sure that it's also mentioned. You want to make sure that it's mentioned. That's with everything. So it's definitely a delete method, and you definitely want to add some data in there. So you want to add some data. This is how you add data. Why? Because if someone is deleting something, you want to tell them, are you sure? But you don't have to do that, okay? You don't have to do that. I'm going to add it, then we can remove it later. Okay, so you want to say, for the data, I want to add confirm. Okay, it's a confirm, which will give us an alert. Okay, so we're going to do a confirm. Change it later to notification. Anyway, confirm. So you want to confirm. Tell the user, are you sure? All right, and you want to we want to add some classes. So class, I don't know. You're gonna have to style that because it's gonna look pretty ugly. We're gonna have to style that. It's gonna look pretty ugly. I'm gonna just call it pet delete. Okay, pet dash delete. So now we can just leave it like that, but it's not gonna work. Right now, if we do this, it's gonna work. But look, if I do save and come back here, refresh, nothing will happen because there's no images. But the minute I click to Finder, let me come to Finder. That's part 7. What am I doing? Go to projects. I'm just gonna add some photos here. Okay, I'm gonna grab these and add them. Now look what happens. Oh, okay, so there's a reason why, hold on. There's a reason why this happened. This happened because we need to come back to pets controller, and in the pets controller, we need to allow, it's got something to do with the CSRF token, and you can see it here. Something with could not upload, and I think it's somewhere around here. Okay, you can find it in here. It's basically, it will not allow you to upload. You see, if I add it again, action controller invalid. Okay, all right. All right, no problem. So I'm gonna say that's fine. So let's just wrap this whole thing in the column. Let's wrap the whole thing. We want to wrap it around something that's pretty. So not the image tag. The image tag is fine. We're gonna style all that. But I'm gonna add a div here. Div dot, I don't know, card image overlay. Okay, card dash image dash overlay. I'm gonna call it bottom. Okay, card image overlay bottom. That's the name of my class. I don't care if they're long. They're meaningful for me. Okay, so in this div, I'm gonna grab this, Command X. I'm just gonna indent this, indent it. Oops. I'm just gonna indent. Okay, I just indented it and I moved it. So I sandwiched it inside the card image overlay. All right, now I'm gonna style these in a second, but I'm not gonna spend time in looking for this error, but if you look for it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now I just want to go over this. The image URL for photo, pet image, pet photos. I'm just going through this to make sure everything is correct. In pets controller, we want to add one more important thing, and we want to say in the pets controller that protect from forgery except, like, you can protect from forgery except for the upload pet photos. Okay, so protect from forgery except for the upload pet photos. Okay, so if we say this, we're not gonna get any more problems. Okay, so save that. Again, in the edit.html.erb, come back here, refresh this. I'm just gonna test one more thing. Let's try it again. If we drag it over here, okay, what was the problem there? Inspect. Actually, I'm gonna stop the server and start it, that's for sure. I definitely don't want to go through all that. I definitely don't want to go through that. I'm going to pause the video, but Control C, Rails S. We have everything. Everything is done perfectly so far. Everything is done perfectly. There should be no problem at all. We have a method delete, data confirm. Are you sure? Hang on a second. Let me say a do here. Actually, I want to show you guys why I'm not doing it yet. Okay. All right, refresh this. Come back here. Let's just do one at a time, see what happens. What was the problem there? Pets controller. Protect from forgery. Okay. The upload pet photos. Upload pet photos. Okay. So you know what we need to do? We need to add this here to the. We need to allow them. Oh my gosh, the not authorized. We need to allow it here as well, because before action, run not authorized only for these. So we need to add it in here as well. Upload photos and the delete pet photos. So we want to make sure that we have that in there. And again, the upload pet photos, we have the pet photos. I'm just reading through them. Pet photos attached, params ID. Okay, so here's the problem. The problem is that we named this this file here. It's supposed to be file. Why? Because in application.html. In edit.html.erb, here we are passing it the file. So it's actually called file. Okay, it's the file. And here the parameter is the file. So copy the file, come back to pet controller, and in here, we want to pass the parameters with the file, just like that. Okay, and if you save this, we've done everything. The protect from forgery, except upload photos. We added upload pet photos and delete pet photos, and we save everything. We come back here, refresh, guaranteed it's gonna work. Grab all these photos here and drag them over. Do Control C, Rails S. It's definitely gonna work, because here we're saying attached pet photos at pet. We have that variable, pet photos. Oh, okay. The attach, this is wrong. Attach. My gosh, you got so many spelling mistakes. Okay, save it again. Come back here, refresh. Come here, drag these photos over. Okay, very good, very good. My gosh, look guys, it worked, it worked, it worked. So now it's time that we go and we add some CSS. It's time that we add some CSS to basically style this. Okay, so first of all, the all right, the images, if you come here to edit, we have images, right? This pet image here, we need to style the pet image. The pet image is so important to style, because if we don't have, so copy this, come to application.css, and this is part of the drop zone. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it here, dot pet image. Let's give it display, first of all, display display, I'm gonna make it block. Okay, so display block, I'm gonna put a width of 100% to make it responsive, and I'm gonna give it a height of auto. Okay, save it, come here, refresh, and we will see in a second. There we go, there we go. So another thing I want to do is make sure that these links is going to be a delete. So that's why I didn't want to show you guys in the beginning why I was going to just put a do. Okay, so over here I'm going to make a loop, I'm going to make a do, and here I'm going to add an end. Okay, and right in here, just about here, I'm going to say delete photo, or we can just put something as simple as just delete, you know, so that way they'll know. So I think I'm going to put a div here, and with a delete class. Delete, I can put h2 or h5, but that doesn't make sense. Delete, I don't know, pet delete, pet dash delete. That's the name of the class. And I'm gonna write delete here. Now I'm gonna take this pet delete, and this is gonna look pretty ugly now. If we come here, it's gonna just have delete on it. So if you do this, it's gonna see at the bottom left corner, I don't know if you see pet photos ID is 5, so let's delete that ID. So what I want to do is I want to move it up, and I want to give it linear gradient. So next, that brings us back to the application.css, and we need to start oh boy, all right, so application.css. All right, let's just come here, inspect. All right, let's just make it look good now. All right, now this class, let's start styling this class. So over here, let's do a position absolute. Okay, position absolute, bottom 0. And then the image needs to be absolute. Hang on, the image position needs to be relative. Okay, so the image position needs to be, I can't believe I'm doing an HTML class here. The pet image needs to be position relative. All right, so let's just remove this bottom 0. Okay, so let's do a background of black, and let's just do it like that. Okay, there, and we can add what else? Color, make it color of white. Okay, and we can say a transition, opacity, font size of 16 pixels, a little bigger. Padding 3 pixels. Transition, I don't know, 0.5 seconds with ease. What else? Let's do a text align left. Text align left. All right, so once we have all that, that's good. So we have all that, let's grab all this, come over here, and we need to add this inside the pet delete. We were touching the pet delete. This one here is the pet delete class. So over here, pet dash delete. So make sure you add the period there. Paste that in there. My gosh, it looks terrible when you paste it in. Save it. come back here and refresh it. Now it should look a lot nicer. Now I'm going to move this to the top. Okay, I'm going to move this button to the top. But first we need to start styling the card image class that I added here in the edit card image bottom. So copy that. Okay. First, there's some obvious things we need to do. The position, we need to make that relative. You can get this from DW schools, so I'm not inventing anything. Okay, width of 100% and max dash width. I'm gonna say 300 pixels. Save it, come back here, refresh. Okay. So another thing, so position relative width 100%, maximum width 300. The pet image, okay, the pet image. I want to make sure that the pet image is actually defined. Okay, more. I don't know. All right, in the edit section, we can say we have a pet delete. We have a pet image. Okay, guys, I am gonna leave it as that. I'm gonna fix it. I don't want to take this forever. I don't want to give up though. Hang on. Top. How is that position? Position. This should be position relative. No, this should be position absolute. And bottom 0. No, bottom. There you go. There you go. Position absolute, bottom 0. Okay. Come back to application.scss. Position, instead of position absolute, there. Bottom 0. Save it. Come back here. And then we want to do is ensure that it's width. I don't know. I guess the width should be 100%. All right, width 100%. Come back here. Width 100%. All right, so that's it, guys, and we're here. I think I'm gonna put no gutters as well in the edit. I'm gonna put no dash gutters, and if you do that, you'll notice there will be no spacing. Is it? I think it's definitely. Oh man, no gutter. I don't want to have to go research what the class is. I think it's no gutter. I'm just gonna put the no gutters on the top of the row. No dash gutters. Save it. Come back here. Refresh it. Okay, perfect. So now there is no. But we can't. What we can do though is add a padding. P. I don't know. I think it's P-1. P1. Save it. Come here. There we go. There we go. So that's perfect. So padding top. We also need to put a padding top. PT-2. Save it. Please tell me this is gonna work. Perfect. Perfect. Now let's test this. If I want to delete this one, there. Are you sure? Click OK. Yes. Great. So now we've deleted the photos, guys. And if in regards to responsive, look at that. That's not bad at all. And also, actually, before I go, these fields here, I want to actually, I want to style these fields. They look terrible. The subtitle, they look terrible. And there's no point of, doing this, finishing this video without adding, subtitle styles, right? So let's get back to the application.scss. Go under typography, and here we want to do the subtitle. Come back here. What's the name of this class? Subtitle. Copy that. Paste it in here. Subtitle. And let's put a margin bottom. Let's do a margin bottom of 0, and do a letter spacing. We should put something like, I don't know, I'm just guessing right now, 0.1 em, I guess, whatever. Font weight 700. Okay, 700. And we text transform upper. Text transform, please no. Text transform uppercase. There. Save it, come back here, refresh. This should look a little better. Please continue to fill out fields. We'll work on the wording later. Now, underneath the h2 class that we added over here, which is the edit, the h2 class. Okay, copy that. The text primary is just bootstrap. Come back to application.scss. And h2, we can start styling h2. We put a 700 weight, of course. Font dash weight 700. Okay, and what we can do 600. We'll see. Letter spacing, letter. No, we don't need that. We can put line height because it's title. Put a line height of I don't know, 1.3, and then we do a font size. Remember, guys, we're supposed to have a designer, but I don't have a designer right now, so. But I kind of wish someone would help me out. I don't know. I guess 48. Let's do it. 24 pixels. I wish someone would help me out. Color. Let's just leave the color alone because we already put text primary. Come back here. Okay, so we can increase. Okay, so pet details. So we can say in the application, in the edit, we can say here where the h2 is, we can say pet details. Edit pet details. Okay, and come back here, refresh it. Now anything underneath here, we don't need that actually. We don't need this. We can do it later for other rows, but not here. Save it, come back here. There we go. And that's it. I think we have done a really great job. And if we resize this, look, but I think the line height, we can change the line height. Let's just change the line height, application.scss again. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it 2em. Come back here, refresh it. Yeah, so that way even, yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, guys, let's just do a quick test here. Let's do a description. Hey, my name is Tina. I am from Bali. Okay, copy, paste, copy, and then paste. Over here, we have a pet URL. So https youtube.com and is paid. Okay, we uploaded the pet photos. Let's add one more. Oh, okay, very good. It worked. Now, if I want to delete this one, Delete, are you sure? Okay, now the params ID, the delete pet photos. So come back to the pet controller on the delete pet photos. What did we do here? Here, this is supposed to be a file. This is supposed to be a file. Okay. Again, it was the same mistake that happened with the upload photo. Actually, no. No, this is find params. This is no this. So we have a variable here, and it's active storage. It's an active storage attachment dot find params ID image dot purge. That's correct. And then here is redirect to edit pet path. Oh, has been deleted. This is deleted. Actually, you know what? I think we should just do a redirect. Redirect back to the request refer to a fallback location, because that's what's. I think that's the problem here right now. Couldn't find the active storage attachment number 8. So if I was to delete this, then what? Let's change this to deleted. That has nothing to do with it. So I suppose we can do let's just uncomment this. So I'm going to do a redirect. Redirect back. So we can do a redirect back to fallback. The fallback location with request request.refer. Fallback location request refer. Save it, come back here, refresh. So whenever we do this, we're getting the pet photos ID. So let's come back to our database. If we come back to our database here in Postico, we can click on pet adoption development and find the user. And the user here is Mike. And right, the user is Mike, right? So Mike, if you come to the pets, and the user ID of Mike is number 2. For me, it's number 2. For you, it could be whatever. I'm not sure, but you have your own. On pets, you can find Tina. Tina number 8 is the ID number 8 of the dog. Okay, and the active is false because we haven't checked that yet, and the video is null. Everything is null because we haven't added a submit button. So let's add a submit button to application.html to edit.html.erb. Okay, so we definitely need to add a submit button, obviously. I was gonna retire the video, but definitely need to add a submit button. So, oh wow, this is such a long video. So in list of photos goes here. Let me just come here. Over here, let's add another row. So we're gonna do a div dot row, and inside of that row, I'm gonna say, oh boy, I guess I'm wondering now how to style this. Actually, you don't even need to add a row. But let me just remove that. So where does this end? What is this? This ends the container. So if that ends the container, what does this end? This ends the column auto 7. This is the 7th column, the right column. So we can just come here. We can do our margin left auto and float to the right. Okay, so we do a div.ml dash auto dot float dash right. I think this is float right in Bootstrap, and dot margin right dash 2. And in here we can do an f submit. So in here we can do an f submit, f dot submit publish. I don't know, publish your I don't know, publish is enough. We need to add classes. Class is btn and btn dash primary. Okay, we can put btn small, whatever. So save that and come here. We should have another button there. Okay, so suppose we can add a row. Div row. Okay, I'm just gonna indent everything. Save it, refresh. Okay, there was no need to have a row. That's okay. So we'll just leave it like that. Margin top dash B. Okay, there we go. So if I click, I've added all these photos, YouTube URL, I'm gonna do youtube.com, blah, 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 copy, paste. So is spade, I'm gonna click on that and publish. Very good. So it redirected us to pet update. But if I go to pets2/edit, there you go. You're gonna notice that I have everything, and you probably think, oh well, where is this information? Because here we're supposed to add whatever is. So come back to here and refresh the pets table. So here you'll see notice is Tina, active is false, is spade is false, has 1 transport cost, user ID, category ID, but why is spade false? Okay, come back to Visual Studio Code and go to the pets controller again. So here on the edit categories.all, why am I struggling with this? So man. So that's to create. We already created it in here. Pet photos attach. What happened to the video here? Okay, video. Okay. So based on our database on the rich text, this has not even saved. Let's refresh. Let's come back to pgadmin. Let's refresh this. New pgadmin window. View all rows. Okay. We selected those, but okay, guys. So I'm gonna leave you guys in working on this, and we're gonna move on to part number 18C in order to fix the bugs with this. But so far this is correct, but there's obviously a bug and it's just not working. So this video is too long, so I'll see you in part 18C. Okay, and I'm sorry that it hasn't been complete in this part, but definitely maybe because I'm tired, I'm not sure. Yeah, but here the blobs are working, and active storage attachments, the action text, that's not saved. Okay, guys, so pet photos ID, photo ID, and pet ID. Okay, well, come back over here. I figured out that I made a mistake here. Actually, it's in fact, I don't know why I did this, but this was correct earlier, but I put ID, but I'm supposed to put the pet underscore photo underscore ID because it's the pet photo. Right in the model, it's pet photos. It's pet photo ID. So if we save this and come back to edit.html.arb, and then this is pet photo ID, not photos. So save that, and so yeah, that should work now. We come back here and come back to pet adoption. So I'm just gonna refresh this and it should be fine. I'm gonna just delete this image. And are you sure? Okay. And okay, so the fallback request refer undefined method. Did you mean refer? That's what I meant, but that's what I meant too. But in fact, I also want to. I think what I also want to do is I want to uncomment this, and I'm gonna just comment this. Well, I'm gonna delete this for now. Redirect to edit pet path at pet and pass it to pet. Notice photo deleted successfully, removed successfully, or yeah, no, removed, removed successfully, like that. Should be enough. And if we save that and come back here and go to the back, refresh again, and if I can delete this now here. Let's see, delete, okay, and then you should say deleted successfully, removed successfully. Perfect. So that's all we need to do. Now, in regards to the updating and everything, none of this has been updated, right? So we obviously need to update, create an update method because none of this, obviously it's in the database now. It's in the database. So if we go to Posticle, for example, and we refresh the action text, there's nothing because it didn't actually save there. So I don't want to give up right now and make this another video. So I want to just make sure the active storage blobs. So you could see here we have this belongs to the record ID number 8, record ID number 8. So if we come back here and we remove it and click OK, and then open our database again and we refresh this again, you see now it's gone. And if we remove this one and click OK, that's also successful, and come back to the database and refresh the database, and that's also gone. So if but if I add like a petyoutube.com, and let me just publish this. Now I'm in pets. The minute, okay, so let's go to pets 8/edit. Let's see what happened. You see? So here there's a problem. We don't have an update method. So if we come back to our table and we go to, let's go to the pets, okay? We're supposed to have a video under the video column. We're supposed to have a video, there's null, okay? So that's for Tina. Right, so we obviously need to add an update method, and I believe that yeah, I guess I'll do it now. So we can go to again to the pets controller, but anyway, yeah, let's just do the update method now, and then we'll work on other attributes later on. I just want to start the basic functionality, and then we'll build upon that stuff, okay? So we need to do an if-else statement here. So an if-else, and here we need to say something like if the pet is updated, and put the pet parameters. Pass so add pet, right? If dot update, and then we can pass the pet params, pet underscore params. So if this happens, if this method runs, the update method with the pet parameters, we're gonna do awesome successfully saved. Okay, so we're gonna do a flash. I'm gonna do a flash notice. Flash notice successfully saved. Okay, equals to saved successfully. Okay, like that. And if else, if that doesn't happen, we are gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna make an alert. Okay, so copy that. Else, make this alert. I don't know, something like nothing saved. Come on now. My laptop is freezing. Nothing. Error. Nothing has been saved. Okay. So lastly, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, we're gonna redirect to actually no, redirect back. So redirect back to the fallback location with a the fallback location with a request refer. Request refer. Actually, there's only one. I think it's one F and double and one R. Request refer. Right, one F and double R. All right, so this looks pretty correct. So now that we have the update, save that. Come back here, refresh. Oh boy. Okay, flash notice. There's a syntax error. What have I done wrong here? So, oh, okay. Yeah, I added an extra colon. So, there, and then let's remove the flash. Remove the columns from it. And that should work. Save it. Come back here, refresh. Okay, so now if I add a Vimeo, a YouTube URL, and I also click the is paid, and I write a bunch of words here. Okay, now these things should be uploaded in the updated in the database. If I click publish, there, saved successfully. So now we have the update method completed, and we have this YouTube in, and then we can open our database regardless of which database you want to use, which GUI you want to use. click on pets, and if you click on the refresh here, you'll notice here we have Tina. It's a pet. Here's a YouTube a URL. She's spayed. It's true. Has one transport cost. That's false because we're not working on this yet. We're gonna do this in the next videos. And we have a category ID. She belongs to category ID number 2 on the table category ID. And in regards to the photos, of course, you would have to come to, in regards to the text, click on the action text, and there you go. You have a pet description with ID number 1, and it belongs to record ID number 8, which this is basically the pet because the pet has rich text. Okay, so this belongs to the pet. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, that's pet number 8. If you come here to the pet table, you'll notice this is number 8, ID number 8. That's how you know that's how you know that description belongs to that pet. So, and in regards to the images, again, we removed all the images. So the active storage attachments, there's none. And if I come back here and I grab those images again, and I grab them and I drag them over here, you'll notice that, yeah, I don't know why it took that long. This needs to be fixed, but anyhow, it seems like, so yeah, we'll work on it. We'll see what happens. Inspect. Let's do an inspect here and see what happens. Console. Okay, everything seems okay, I think. Okay, so if I click publish now, it refreshes the page, and this seems to be like stuck like that anyway. If I refresh the page here, all right, so it's okay. That's just HTML. Let's come back to our database, and if we refresh this table active storage attachments, you'll notice exactly. So we have 1, 2, 3 pet photos with the record ID number 8, number 8, number 8, because one dog or one pet can have many pet photos. Okay, so if I refresh this again, this seems to be stuck up. Let me just delete this one here. Are you sure? Okay, let's delete that, see what happened. Okay, let's delete it again. That works. Okay, let's delete this one, and that works. And if I come back to the database and I refresh the database again, you'll notice they're all gone. So let's try one more time, and I'm gonna grab all those 3. Okay, and I'm gonna upload them here. Let's see what happens if that problem persists again. Okay, so it seems like it did persist. So I wonder why it persisted. And I think this here, like if I was to say I was to grab more photos, okay, let's add like more. I'm gonna add another duplicate ones just to see how they're gonna be arranged. So obviously here it's creating a row, and every time there's a row, there's a margin. So come back to edit.html.erb, and this padding top has to, no, this is not it, but this padding 1 has to go. No, this doesn't have to go, but it seems like, so this is the loop right here. Okay, so create 1 photo. So the card image overlay bottom, column large 3, padding, we can say, if we remove this padding and we remove this no gutters thing, padding top, let's remove that, save it, come back here and refresh it. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so this looks a little more organized, but this here seems to be an issue. So we are gonna have to make our own. I think this here is a problem. Let me just remove this column here and see what happens. Okay, so then we have a bigger problem, and that's fine. As long as we're aware of it, so let's just leave it like that. We can also do a column large 4, save it, refresh it, and this looks a little better. Okay, and we'll just leave the padding P1, P-1. Okay, and if we refresh it again, this looks a little bit better. but we need to set some rules on the HTML, okay? And also the row here, I think we can do a padding -3, you know, save that, refresh, so that it looks a little nicer here. All right, so this looks a little better, and if we were to do this, we need to add those cards so that we can flick them through when we're on mobile, okay? So that's why I'm not gonna use the column large 8, the bootstrap column. But for now, I just wanted to do this. It's a functional, it's a basic app, right? So we know the functionality works, so that's the good thing. And we're gonna have to add more attributes, obviously, but you know, like, you know, microchips, vaccinations, types of vaccinations. We're gonna have to add a bunch of stuff, but this is really great news right now because we have like so much done. But before we even jump into adding more attributes, the cost is so important. We have to add the cost. And over here, we're gonna be able to choose what types of cost. Let me just delete this. Okay, let me delete this and let me delete that. And I'm gonna just delete all the duplicates. And yeah, okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I really hope you loved it, and I'm gonna be working more and more on this. I'll see you guys in part 19. Thankfully, we'll see you guys in part 19, and I'm just gonna come over here and I'm gonna start I'm just gonna come here and stop the server, Control C. So I'm gonna git add period git commit -m part 18b completed completed the update the edit page, added dropzone.js library, created upload and delete photo upload methods for the pet, implemented completed implementation for action implementation for action text, completed updated pets controller, and work on styles, work on some styles. CSS, yeah, that's it. I think that's over saying it, but part 18b. Okay, so that's the commit, and then do a git push. So now you guys should be able to see what I did in this part. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in part 19. Bye for now.